There we go. All right, so I don't know if you have had the opportunity to come see us last week or if you had been able to watch the video or not. I'm just going to give a little recap and then we're going to jump into the session that we were continuing off of from last week. So this week we're just talking about cryptography. And what cryptography is just a way to encrypt and decrypt information. How many of you are new from last week? How many of you were not here last week? You can go ahead and message anyone just to get an idea of where we're all at. Me, new, okay. Welcome, welcome. So what cryptography is, again, is just a practice of studying and hiding information. We do encrypt messages that we call plain text, and that plain text, after it's encrypted, becomes something called ciphertext. And you can go ahead and decrypt ciphertext to find out what the code is, which we call plain text. And what we did talk about a couple different ways. So we talked about a Caesar cipher, and what that does, it shifts the alphabet so that we're able to encrypt and decrypt information from that. So an example is here, if we have a plain text, which is just my A through Z, and we have a ciphertext, what we're doing here is we're just shifting our alphabet. So if we had a plain text of F, that character becomes A when we go ahead and encrypt the information. If we're given ciphertext, then our A becomes F when you decrypt the information. Another thing that we talked about was keyword cipher, and that's another way of just encrypting or decrypting. The only thing here is that you're choosing a key letter, which is your starting point, and then choosing a keyword, not using any repeating letters, and you're starting from that key letter. Here's an example. So suppose if we're using a key letter, which is G, and a keyword campground. At the key letter, we start our word campground, and then we go ahead and we fill in all of the spaces remaining with all the alphabet in alphabetical order, all the letters that we are not using. And it's really important when you're using this way that you don't use any repeating letters. And then we went ahead and did a couple fun examples. Now today we're going to do some very similar, but now we're going to be dealing with a lot more numbers than letters. Somebody had their mic on. I don't know if you had a question or not. No? Okay. All right, so today we're going to talk about letter to number cipher. So letter to number cipher, again, is just similar to encrypting and decrypting before, but we're working with numbers and specifically 2-digit numbers. So the ones will always have the 0 in front, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, and so on. And what we do here is we change each letter into a number using this table. So if I was given a plain text, I can go ahead and encrypt the information, which would become numbers. And if I was given a ciphertext, I would decrypt this information, which would give me plain text in letters. Does anyone have any questions? It's okay to chat me, chat Alex, or Connor. We're all your go-tos, okay? So when we talk about decrypting a following message, so here I have a collection of different numbers, and it's really important to understand that there's spaces here for a reason, right? So the spaces here can say that these group of numbers right here are going to be probably one group of letters, right? So if I'm decrypting this, I'm looking at the ciphertext, and if I was to look for the first 2-digit number, which is 04, I'm left with D in my plain text. Go ahead and get my pen started here. So that means that our first letter would be D. Does anyone want to tell me what the second letter is going to be?
O.
O. Does anyone want to tell me the third?
N.
N.
And we're going to keep the apostrophe. What's the 20?
T.
T.
T. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and finish this one. Make sure you send your answers to Alex, Connor, or I. Make sure, even though you think you have an answer, that you're going back and you're double checking your work. Did anyone have any questions? And again, guys, if I go too fast at some point, just go ahead and stop me, and I don't mind going back a slide or so or explain something again.
Let us know who you want to call on someone and when you're ready.
You guys are ready whenever you are.
Okay. Jennifer, would you like to share what you got?
I got don't eat too much candy.
Don't eat too much candy. Did everybody get the same thing, or did someone get something different?
I got the same thing.
Awesome. And as I was getting messages, somebody cried. Somebody must like candy a lot, huh? Send me those emojis. Yeah? Everybody like candy? Anyone does not like candy? Anyone? I went to high school with one kid who didn't like candy at all. Nothing sweet, nothing sugared. Which is completely opposite for me, right? Because
I
if I
can't
had brownies.
comprehend why.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead, since this one was a lot of fun, let's go ahead and try a different one. Now here I'm given is it plain text or ciphertext?
Plain text.
Plain text. And I want to go ahead and encrypt or decrypt?
Encrypt.
Encrypt.
Encrypt, right? So let's go ahead and do this on your own and make sure you're sharing your messages with Alex or Connor. They're going to be in charge of calling on somebody. Probably Connor this time. I have one hand raised, but let's give it another minute till everybody has their answers. Alex, Connor, you guys just let me know how it's going.
So I've gotten 4 responses.
Okay. And there's about almost 15 of us, right? So a couple more answers and then we'll go ahead and do this. Like to see everybody participate if possible. Now, keep in mind here with the number ciphertext that you have to have 2 digits, right? So if one of your letters is going to be C, then we know that C would be 03. So you have to give me 03, not 3.
All right. Armin, do you want to share your answer?
It's Armand.
Armand? Okay,
Sure. What I got is I got 03, 01, 12, 12,
Hold on, let's slow down. 03, 01,
12, 12, space 13, 05, space 13, 01, 25, 02 05.
Did anyone get something different, or is he missing something? What's missing, guys?
Exclamation point.
There we go. All right. So everybody's good? Everybody got the same thing?
Yes.
Yes? Is anyone confused or would like to go over how we got this? Keep in mind, when we're doing this, if we see C, we have 03. If we have A, we have 01. L, and since we have two L's, we have the same number twice. So it'd be 12 and 12. Okay, so that would be the first word, and then we have a space. M is going to be 13. E is going to be 05. Maybe, so we start with M again, 13. A, 01. Y is 25. B is 02. And E is 05. Then we have exclamation point. So far, everybody having fun? Easy? Would like something harder? Yes? Harder? Okay. Now, you were
I
going
was
to say
just gonna
something?
say, just as a comment, because I know some of the messages you guys had all the numbers together. Some of you guys kept the spaces, and there were some variations there. And so we're using spaces just because it's easier for teaching, basically. But actually, if you want it to be stronger, slamming all the numbers together can actually be good, right? And maybe you could make this harder to crack if you had like some filler numbers in the front that don't really mean anything. So you have to figure out where it actually starts and then go from there. So think about, just on your own time, a bunch of ways of how you could take this, because this is pretty simple, how you could make this harder. Now we're going to see harder things, but think for each of these how you could just tweak them a little and make them more interesting. That can be a fun thing to come up with your own cipher.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of fun things you can do with it. You can probably combine more than one method together and see what you get. So you could shift, you could use Caesar cipher here, and you can actually shift all those numbers and then go ahead and use this. So there's a lot of really cool things you could do. All right, so let's talk about another way. So another way is Wordshift cipher. So this one is definitely a little bit more complex in encrypting and decrypting messages. And again, as usual, I always have an example to follow everything that I say. And what this does right here is you use a word, a keyword or a phrase, and then you have a numerical value for that letter or phrase or words. And what you're going to do here is you're going to be using this to help in encrypting and decrypting message. And often this does have a lot of addition and subtraction. So here's just an example of how we're going to go ahead and encrypt using the Wordshift cipher. So here I have a plain text and a cipher text, which is all in numbers. Here, if I'm going to take today and me repeated, me, and I only need 5 of these, right? Because today is only 5 letters. If there's a numerical value associated with each letter, such as D, D would be what numerical value? Clayton?
04.
04, right? So we'll just fill this in and then we'll go ahead and show how this works. What's A? Somebody else.
01.
01. Careful. O and 0, 2 different things. What about Y?
25.
25. What about M?
13.
All right, so this M would be probably 13. We also have E is
05.
05.
05. Careful, right? Because we're talking about numbers. Okay, so first we want to find numerical values as we just did. And what we're going to see here is we're going to come up with some other word. To do this, let's think, okay, if we're going to find an encryption, so we're encrypting our message, we're going to go ahead and add all of these together. So we're going to add all our numerical values. So if we have the first part, that means simply that 20 plus 13. What is 20 plus 13?
33.
33. What do we notice about 33?
It isn't,
It's
it's
not
like
on the
too far
table.
ahead.
It's too far ahead, right? So if we have a number that's too far ahead and we need to go ahead and encrypt this, what should we do?
Loop back
Go
around.
back to the
So you
beginning
go 1, 2, 3, 4,
numbers.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 26, then from 26 to 1.
Well, we do understand. I like what you're thinking. But since our alphabet is 26 letters, right? Which is 1 through 26, what we can go ahead and do is actually subtract. So if we took 33 and we subtracted it by 26, because that's the number of letters in the alphabet, what value do we get?
7.
7. And what letter is going to be 7?
G.
G. All right, next one. So here we'll do 15 plus 0, 5. And that's going to give us
20.
20. And 20 is which letter?
T.
T. Does anyone have any questions about how this Wordshift cipher works? It's okay to ask questions. We're here to just, make sense of something that's probably really new for a lot of you. No questions? Okay. Well, what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to actually let the rest of you try to fill out the rest of this chart right here. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about it as soon as the majority of you are done.
So just message Maria, Connor, or me with the 5 letters that we get. You got the first 2, G and T, but message all 5 of them when you message us.
I'll work on filling out the chart just one more time because I thought they were reflected again, but I'll go ahead and do that while you guys are working. All right, so I have someone raise their hand. How are you guys doing with answers?
I have 2.
I've got 3. Let me just check the name. All but one of them is someone who's already spoken today, though.
Connor, how are you doing? Are you getting messages?
Yeah, I've got 3 people who have answered, and I have 2 different answers.
Okay, I got 2 people and 2 different answers.
My answers are all the same. So if you or Connor want to call on someone.
Yeah,
Let's-
or Maddie, or sorry, Matty. Do you want to answer?
All right, Maddie or Matsy, just give me the first one here, okay? And then we'll let somebody else do the next ones. Are you able to speak? Maddie? Audio
If-
doesn't work?
Yeah, if not, how about Jonathan? Do you want to share your answer?
Sure. UFL are the extra letters.
All right, we're just going to do this one. So give me
Oh,
this one right
Q.
here. Q?
Q.
How'd you get Q?
Because I added D and M, which are 4 and 13, which gave me 17. And on the chart, it says that the cipher text for 17 is Q.
You mean the plain text is Q?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're okay. All right. iPhone. I don't know your first name, but do you want to go ahead and give me the next one?
Oh yeah, my name is Sophia.
Hi,
The
Sophia.
next one, hi. The next one is F.
All right. How did you get that one?
I added A and E, which equals 6, and in the chart it says that the plain text for 6 is 7.
All right.
I mean F.
All right, Samuel, want to give me the next one?
Yes, I added 25 plus 13.
What'd you get?
I added the extra space.
All right. Speak up one more time. What'd you get?
I got
A little hard to hear you. You want to actually chat that to me? If you can.
Or do you want the Warners to share? Because I believe they got the same answer. If
All
I
right, so
heard.
Samuel says L, but Warners, if you want to actually share how you got that, that would be great.
So I got L as well. I added 25 and 13, and you'd end up with 38.
Right.
But 38 isn't on here because it goes past the number list here. So we'd have to minus it by 26, and you would end up getting 12, and 12 from ciphertext to plain text is L.
All right, good job. Does anyone have any questions about this? How was this one? Do you like this compared to the ones we've already done?
I actually have a question.
Yes.
Does it really matter if the plain text is lowercase or uppercase?
That's a good question. I think in more complex plain ciphertext, yes, because you can have a key that goes with upper and lower, but for the reasons of what we have going on today, I don't think it matters. It definitely can get a lot complicated when you have both.
And notice if you had both, we would go up to 52, right? Because we'd have twice as many letters. And so that would come into play as well. But the idea would be the same.
Yes. Anyone else have any other questions or no? So what if I was, instead of encrypting, I was decrypting? Does anyone have an idea how we would go ahead and approach that kind of problem? What if I was decrypting? Does anyone know?
That means you will the number will be the letter. I mean, like you have the number presented in front of you and you're trying to convert it to plain text.
Maybe. Does anyone else want to share what they think? What would happen if I was to decrypt a message such as this? Using Wordshift Cipher. It's okay to be wrong. It's a lot of new stuff. So what do you think? I'd love to hear what you guys think from a few other people. Or think of it this way. If I'm going to be adding, right, then decryption should be
Subtracting.
Subtracting, right? So we're probably going to what? Subtract what to what? If I used today and me to encrypt this message, how would I decrypt this message?
You would subtract today and me.
Think about it. That's a good answer. So you are right. You are taking one word or phrase and you're subtracting it to another. But in decrypting, which we'll go ahead and talk about, if we want to decrypt, we're actually going to be subtracting, which is one of our words, from the message we actually encrypted. So an example of that is here, if we're going to have our message, which we already decrypt, right? And here we have something that we added onto our previous word, which was today. This time we're going to be subtracting. Does that make sense to everybody? To find out the word that we were going to encrypt from the beginning. Anyone's confused or need further explanation on that one? Yes, no? Warner's raised your hands. What's your question?
So I just, could you go back to the page so I could quickly write down the note?
This one or the one before?
That one, thanks.
Okay. So the idea was originally we started with our word today, right? So today we wanted to encrypt it. And what we chose was some other word, which I just repeated, me, and then I just needed 5 of those letters, right? So I added those letters in so that I could encrypt the message. Now I'm taking the message that I had already encrypted and I'm going to decrypt it by subtracting those letters that I chose to encrypt the previous message. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, raise hands. Let me see some hands. Yeah, nods. And you make sure you're all still here, right? Yes, thumbs up. Good, awesome. All right, so again, we're gonna go ahead and start decrypting our message, right? First thing we wanna do is just make sure we know all our numerical values for our letters, right? So what was Q?
17.
17. What was F?
6.
Hold on, it was 06. Careful there. It has to be 2 digits, right? What was L?
12.
12. What was M?
13.
All right, so those are easy, right? Because they're given to you right there. And E?
05.
05. Right. So now if I'm going to go ahead and decrypt, I go ahead and take my 07. I say minus 13, right? What's 07 minus 13?
Negative 06.
Negative 06. Is that in my ciphertext?
No.
So what should I do?
Add 26.
All right, so this case, we're going to add, not subtract 26. So negative 06 plus 26 is going to give us
20.
20, which is which word?
T.
I mean, which letter? Yes.
Letter.
I know. I always slur sometimes. I talk too fast, right? All right. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and let you guys tell us the letter that's missing and how you get that letter. So go ahead and finish this. Let's see what you guys get at the end. And this is definitely easier because the chart's already there for you. But imagine having to try to write down the chart for yourselves or figure it out, right? So far, so good. Alex, Connor, did you want to call on anybody for the first one?
Sure. Clayton, would you like to share what you got and how you got it?
For the first one.
Just for the
For the
first.
first letter.
Yeah, the second letter, technically.
Well, yeah, but I got Y
So how'd you?
because I added 20 and 5 and I got 25. Y is the 25th letter.
Now we're decrypting, right? So are we adding or subtracting?
Oh, so then it would be,
So
Yeah.
we did what?
Do you want to
20
do it live?
minus 5.
Yeah.
That would be
15.
15. Good. And 15 is?
Oh,
Right. I don't give free answers. You guys got to show me the work, right? Sound good? All right. Sam, you'll want to do the next one?
Yeah. For the next one, I got D.
All right, you got D, and how do you do that?
I did 17 minus 13 and I got 4, 0, 4.
0, 4. Good job. All right, let me hear from somebody different. Give me the next one.
0.6 minus 0.5 is 0.1, which is A.
Which is A. Anyone else? Was somebody different for the next one?
Sophia has her hand raised if you want to volunteer.
You want to take this, Sophia?
Gladly. I got Y, and because I subtracted 12 from 13, which equals -1 plus 26 equals 25.
All right, good job. Anyone have any questions about this? Anyone? So,
Out of curiosity, did anyone do this? Did anyone go, we encrypted the word today. We should decrypt to get the word today. So I know the answer is today without doing the decryption. Be honest, did anyone do that? Warners?
So I thought of doing that, and I was like, I'm just going to show my work just in case it's
Yeah.
wrong. So yeah.
it's good.
Okay.
Always show work just in case, right? Because you never actually know sometimes.
Right. So I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying if that popped in your head, that is a perfectly rational thing, right? And then do the work anyway.
Yeah. All right. So here, did everybody understand? Was there any questions? So if you could do one by yourselves, you guys think you could do it? Yes? Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and test that theory. So here I have a word, which is math rocks, and I want to go ahead and encrypt this word. So that means just like last time we chose the word me, and me was just repeated, repeated, repeated. You're going to have to choose a word with no repeating letters, but you're going to have to choose that word, and it's just going to kind of like play back and play back. So I'll show you what that means here. So the word that was chosen here was just me. So that means me was just written again and again as much as it's needed. Does everybody understand that? Yes? Okay. So here you could choose a word such as, let's say, if you wanted to choose the word bark, right? Like a dog. So here, B-A-R-K, then you would have B-A-R-K, then B. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys have a little fun and actually choose a word that you want to use here and encrypt this message. Now, when I encrypt, am I adding or subtracting these letters, numerical values together?
Adding.
Adding. All right. So I'll let you guys go ahead and give it a try. And take your time with this. I know it's definitely a little bit of a long one.
And just kind of a comment too, right? Math rocks, that is 9 letters. So you can try to find a word that's exactly 9 letters, or if you notice what Maria did on the previous example, she just decided on her word and just repeated it until she ran out. That's fine. And if you had a word that was too long, you could just use it until it ran out, right?
Yeah.
So don't worry too much about finding a word that's exactly 9 letters unless you want to.
I do have my own example, but I want to hear from you guys too, just to see what you guys come up with. And then when you come up with one, I would like it if you can message Alex, Connor, or I the word done. That way we know where everybody's at.
Yeah, I've got one who is already done, but just one.
Okay. And if you need any help, you guys could also just message us for questions. We'll gladly help you work out your own.
Okay, I have a second done.
Connor, anybody from you or no?
I have a third done.
Okay. You guys are having fun making your own? Yeah?
Yes.
You guys are going to be cryptographers in the future? Maybe?
No,
No.
I
You don't
heard.
wanna- you
I
wanna-
hope to be a surgeon.
Armand's just like,
Nice.
no, I do not like this. This is torture. Like,
I'm
I
going to
mean, I
be.
like it. It's not like my style, you know. Like I
All
like
right.
science.
I
And
don't like
anatomy.
it, but I don't really like it that much, you know? It's,
All right.
So you like it, but it's like you like it, but you wouldn't really do it again, like that sort of like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I wouldn't do it like a career.
mm,
Okay. Well, we'll wait on a couple more dones and then we'll go ahead and
I was gonna
and-
say you don't want to get paid to be sneaky. It's basically what cryptography.
No,
but
I'm
there's
sorry,
not
I
that
don't
much
work for the
business unless
CIA.
there's a war, and who
I'm-
wants a war? Like,
Yeah, I'm
just
sorry.
go
I'm
out
not
on the
gonna work
street
for the
and shoot
CIA.
somebody out. Now we're in business, guys. Congratulations, we're making money. Like,
all right. Who likes puzzles? Anyone like puzzles?
As
Okay.
a hobby, yes.
As a hobby? Okay. Maybe this might become your hobby then.
Well, I
So
mean, it is. So
Armand getting outwitted.
All right. Ready? All right. How many of you would like me to go over my example first and then want to share with yours? Or do you guys want to jump into yours? Let's do like a vote. Message your answers. Me first or you? Us. Okay. I have one us. What's everybody else saying? I first.
I got
Okay.
another us.
Okay. So far it's even for
It's
me.
tied.
All right. Let's
I got
give it
another us.
us.
Another
Okay.
us. Okay.
Looks like us is winning. Okay.
Us is winning.
So
Okay. Who do
Hey.
you want to pick someone or me, Connor?
Kay, I haven't heard from Kay, I think. K_M. Can you hear me okay or no? Have you had one?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Mike is not working. Clayton, do you want to share yours?
I'm not finished with mine.
Not finished? Okay, that's fine. Let's see who else messaged me. Somebody different. Alex, Connor, do you have someone different?
I do. I believe the Warners have had some comments, but they haven't shared a full solution today, right? So if that's correct, then Warners, go for it.
So so for my word, I chose cat, and it actually perfectly repeated.
All right, so we have cat, we have cat, we have cat, and we have cat. Are you going to tell me the numerical value for each of the letters?
03, My bad. 0, 3, 0, 1, and 20.
0, 1, and 20. Zero, 3, 0, 1, and 20. What about for math rocks? What's the letters,
For
the
math
numbers?
rocks, I'm gonna go down the list. M was 13. Then we had 0, 1, 20, 0, 6, 18, 15, 0,
Hold on.
3.
You're at H is 0, 6. Are you sure?
I'm trying to read that. My bad. It's 0, 8.
There we go. So 0, I'll just write that again. 0, 8. R was
18. O was 15. C was 0, 3. K was 11. And S was 19.
all right. So tell me what you did here then.
What I did is I added them together and I ended up getting 16, 0, 2, 14.
You're going to
11.
have to explain your work. Not everybody's worked on the same one, right?
Right. So 13 plus 0, 3 is 16. We wouldn't have to minus anything from that. And that would change to a P. Then for 01 and my bad 0, 1 and 0, 1 is a 2 and that's a B. Then 20 plus 20.
Go down.
Sorry, ma'am.
No, you're good. I just, I write slow.
Okay. 20 plus 20 is 40, but that's not on the list. So we'd have to subtract it by 26, and that would be 14. So 14 would be N on the list. Then we would do 0, 8 and 0, 3, add them together, and that would be 11, and 11 would then be K.
All right, hold on. We're going to have to go slow. 11 is K. I hope everybody's checking the work because I'm just listening. All right, next one.
Next one would be R. It would be 18 plus 0, 1, which would be 19. So that would be an S.
All right. Next one.
Then after S, we would have 15 plus 20, and that would be 35. We'd have to subtract it by 26, and you would get 0, 9. So that would be an I.
You got 0, 9
Yes, ma'am.
and I.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Okay, I trust you, all of
Then
you.
After it, it'd be C plus C, so 0, 3 plus 0, 3, which is 0, 6, so that'd be an F. Then after that, 11 plus 12, which would be L.
11 plus 0, 1 is 12, right?
Right, 11 plus 0, 1, I do not see it. And then 19 plus 20 is, well, 39, and we'd have to subtract that. And that would be, oh, shoot, I realized I got this wrong. It'd be 13 instead of 0, 3.
So 39 minus 26 is?
13. And it's instead of 3, so it wouldn't be C. My original answer, it'd actually be M.
Does everybody agree with this one?
That is correct.
That is correct. Okay. Somebody else checked? I want to hear 2 corrects for double checking. I want to hear double. Yes? Everybody's having fun? All right. So this, using the word cat, you were able to encrypt the message and you got PBNKSIFLM. Does anyone want to try their own? Next one.
May I try?
Who's calling?
Armand.
All right, go ahead. Armand?
So, Armand, yes, not Armand,
Okay.
please. Yes.
Okay.
So what I used is, for my example, I used fuzzballs.
Hold on, let me write this real quick.
Oh, okay.
13, 0, 1, 20, 0, 8, right, guys?
Yes.
Yes. 18, 15, correct me if I'm wrong, it happens. 0, 3, and 11, and 19. All right, what
Correct.
was your word?
My word was fuzzballs. Fuzzballs.
F-U-Z-Z,
Yes.
fuzz balls,
Yeah.
Yes.
B-A-L-L-S, I'm
Yes.
guessing.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. F was
06, 21, 26, 26, 02, 01, 12, 12, and 19.
all right.
And what you're gonna do is 13 plus 06 equals 19, and that's gonna get you S. 01 plus 21 is 22, which is gonna give you V. And 20 plus 26, 26 is 46. Minus 26 equals 20, which is not 12.
All right. Go slow. So
T.
46 minus 26.
Yes, is 20, which gives you T. And 08 plus 26, it gives you 34. And minus 26 is going to give you 8. And 8 is H. Um, 18 plus 02 is 20, which is T. 15 plus 01 is 16, which is P. 03 plus 12 is 15, which gives you O.
My marker's actually falling a little bit behind, so it's just slow.
Yeah, it's okay. 15 is O. 11 plus 12 is 23, and that will give you W. And 19 plus 19 is 38. I'm just waiting for your marker to catch up.
I know.
38 minus 26 is 12. And that will give you L.
You got 12.
Yes, and that's L.
All right. Does everybody agree? Everybody check? Yes? Everybody's good? Say correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay, awesome.
Correct.
Having fun so far?
Correct.
Okay. So we'll do one more and then we'll go on to the next thing. Samuel, you want to share yours? And again, we'll have to write this down, right? So give me a second here. 013, and my marker for some reason is slow. It's probably my Wi-Fi, right? 20. Everybody correct me if I ever get this wrong. It's okay. It happens. 18, 15, 03, 11, 19. All right, Samuel, what is your word?
What is so your mic quality is
word is triangle.
triangles? Okay.
All right.
Good.
TRI. You want to share? Your mic is a little off, but do you want to actually go ahead and message that to me? What your answers are, and I'll just say it.
Yeah. So he sent the word before. So yeah, he did triangles, usual spelling.
I'm just checking. Sometimes you never know, right? All
And he
right.
gave
So
the final answer, but we wanted to go through the steps, right? So Samuel, how about message me in order so Maria's jumping the gun a little bit. I was gonna say message me in order what this word translates to with numbers. Okay. And he just sent the first two are correct, 2018, and then 09. I'm gonna not look at what you're writing, Maria. I'm just gonna read this off and you tell me sums off. 09, 01, 1407 1205 19. Uh-oh, what did I just do wrong, everyone, with my mouth? What did I did a bad
You
thing.
said
You
oh
said
instead
oh,
of
no.
instead
Oh.
of zero. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame.
Bit of
Shame on
shame.
you. It's not English, it's math.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh no.
All right, Samuel, how's your mic doing so far? Any better?
Is it better?
A
Sounds
little
like-
bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I added and I
All right,
did
start 13. Yeah.
and I got 33. And so then I just went back and started from the beginning, and that added up to G.
All right, so are you just adding right now then?
No, I did 13 plus 20, and then
Right.
since 33 is off the alphabet, I just started from A again, and I kept on counting.
Oh, so you counted? Okay. What would be the number then?
Yeah, and so I got G
8,
or
0, 8,
yeah, G.
and that
Yeah,
would
it
be?
should G.
No, so we got 07.
Oh, 0, 7 or 0, 8?
Yeah.
He said 8.
Okay. So this
0,
is
7.
Yeah.
0,
So
7.
notice you mentioned that you just kept going and counting. And so this is something to be careful with. We are choosing to do subtraction, but you'll notice when you subtract, you could get 0, right? That's never going to happen with what we're doing here. But in general, when you subtract, you could get 0. So there's an off by 1 thing going on with just continuing to count versus subtracting and checking it. So make sure you actually specifically subtract, because it could be off by 1 letter if you do the counting ahead technique.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're doing the subtraction just to make sure. And, you know, often we're looking for the position, not necessarily the number, or I don't know, sometimes there is some confusions there sometimes when you're adding or subtracting where it is versus what value. So for different problems, not this one.
So then I did the 18 plus 0, 1, which was 19, and I got S.
All right, and what'd you get for the first one?
S. The first one
First
was
letter, G.
Then for the next one, I did 20 plus 9. And then I subtracted the 26.
And what'd you get?
I got C, which is 4. I mean 3.
All right, so 0, 3. And you got C. Good.
And then I did 8 plus 1, which was
0, 9, which is
I.
right.
And then I did 18 plus 14, which gave me 32, minus the 26 was 6, which is F.
Which was what?
F.
Right.
And then I did the 15 plus 7. And then that was V, which is 22.
My marker's just going off a little bit. Okay, C or G or V?
C.
Okay.
And
Right.
then 12 plus 3, which was 15, which is O. And then 11 plus 0, 5, which is P16.
And then the last one?
And then 19 plus 19, which then went off the paper, which was 38. And then I subtracted 26, which got me 12.
All right.
That's that.
And my marker is so slow, it's having its own little field day today. All right, so you got 12, which was?
L.
Does everyone agree with that? Did everyone check the work? Okay, I
Agree,
got a
and it's
couple.
checked.
Checked. Awesome. All right. Was that fun?
Agreed.
Was that fun? Yes? Did
Very.
anyone think it was not fun? It's okay to be honest. But some people are still a little confused or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. How we feeling?
I think it's a sort of.
Sort of. Okay.
Kind of like, it's okay.
It's okay. All right. Well, all right. So let's jump into the next one. So now we're going to talk about Pigpen Cipher. Has anyone seen anything like this before? A few people.
Yes.
All right. Now, hands down. Anybody with hands up have not seen this before? Okay. So Pigpen Cipher is just another way of encrypting, decrypting, just as we talked about. But with this one, it's a little bit different because every letter is kind of associated with a position and a grid. So each letter has a symbolic representation that's going to explain its location. So if I was looking for a letter A, let's say I wanted to go ahead and just find A, then that would just be this symbol right here, because the position of A is just in between this part right here.
Correct.
Right? That makes sense to everybody so far? If I was looking for a T, then that means the symbol for T would just be this. Everybody make sense so far?
Correct, but a little bit more wider.
Probably, but my marker's having its own little adventure today. How about if I had this one? What letter is that?
Q.
Q. Good.
Q.
All right. So we think we're able to go ahead and solve this out then?
Yes.
All right. So let's say we have an example here, and I kindly put it here on this side right here. On the right is actually our Pigpen, but sometimes you don't necessarily have the key right there in front of you, and we'll have to actually go ahead and solve this, is what a lot of cryptographers go ahead and do. But let's go ahead and decrypt this message right here, and make sure you send your answers to either Alex or Connor, and don't give it away just yet. And if you have questions and not sure about anything, you can always go ahead and message us also. I don't mind questions. And when you are done, make sure you are double checking your work. It is very easy to might miss one or two things.
In general, you should know if you did it right or not, though, because once you decipher it, it should make sense, right? Like if you just get random letters, then obviously like you did something wrong. But if you get something that's like one word or a phrase that is English, then you did it right.
I haven't heard any answers from a few other people today. Can you guys go ahead and make sure that you guys are sending your answers?
So I've only gotten one that's someone who hasn't spoken today so far. or
Have
give
you
an
heard
answer.
from the person? I want to hear from
have.
people
You-
who haven't.
Yeah, do you want me to go ahead and call on them?
Not just yet. Let's hear a couple more answers. But do you have new people entirely?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay. I got one also.
Fun fact, about me, haha, so important. These types are my favorite because they look like alien languages. They look super weird.
I know, right?
It looks like Star Wars language.
Warners, do you have a question?
Actually, a little thing. If anyone's ever played Minecraft and used the enchantment table, it actually uses the Pigpen Key on it for the letters. And I actually
Oh,
just learned that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Minecraft fans.
Yes.
Well, no, not all enchantment table script actually looks like that.
All right. So I guess since the chit chat has started, we're ready.
Okay, so where did the name go? Mark, would you like to share what you got?
I got trapezoid.
Very good.
All right. Spell it for me. Make sure you got the right letters.
TRAPEZOID.
All right. Does everybody agree?
I agree.
All right.
You know what was funny is because there was this space in the between of R and A, and that kind of threw me off. So I was like, wait, then it would be like TR space APEZOID. But then I was like, oh, but then the letters are long, so that makes sense.
Right. All right.
Yeah, that's it too.
Well, sometimes a little bit of space is just kind of to help to separate the symbols.
Yeah, and this is something Alexander was talking about earlier too, how he was saying how you could take all the spaces out and shove all the letters together, and that can make it harder to tell what the words are to try to decipher it. Also how that kind of fooled you. You can also put in extra spaces at random areas and make people think it's two words, and really it's just one. And if you're trying to figure this out on your own, that can make it significantly harder.
Right.
Just as a comment of Maria said this before, you can combine things. So what we were just doing with the Wordshift cipher, right, where we had our word, we had a keyword, we added the letters, and then had our gibberish. You could then take that gibberish, encrypt it with this, and then whoever's trying to decrypt your message would get gibberish because they're not done decrypting, right? And so you can always stack these on top of each other.
Exactly. All right. Are we ready then for the next one? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Make sure you send your answers in. Send it to Alex, Connor, or I. Alex, Connor, you guys just keep me updated on how many answers you got.
Yeah, and then just a little bit more of what I was talking about, those spaces. I started to decrypt this myself because I haven't seen it yet. And so when I was looking at it, I was able to guess the message before I fully decrypted, just based off where the spaces were. And so I was able to tell, where the word spaces are, and then that way it gave me a really good hint about what the answer was going to be. So if you were trying to give this as a secret message to someone, you might put those spaces in different locations. And you might think that might be confusing for the person who's getting the message, but keep in mind, once they write it out in English, it's going to be really obvious that the spaces are in the wrong place, and then they can read it the correct way.
Super true, super true. And again, like we said, there's different ways to go ahead and decrypt and encrypt messages. Imagine having to use the Caesar cipher and shifting the alphabet, then the position for the letters would change, right? So a lot of really cool things you guys can go ahead and put together, and on your free time, definitely explore. All right, are we ready, guys, or no? Yes? Anyone still need more time?
So the only messages I've got are from people who've had a chance to speak today. I don't know if you were.
I haven't heard from Jacob, I think. Jacob, did you want to go ahead and share?
Okay. So I got knowledge is power.
All right, go ahead and spell that to make sure.
KNOWLEDGEIS and then POWER.
All right, does everybody agree, or does somebody get something different?
I agree.
Yes?
And
Awesome.
that plain text is
I
so true.
agree.
Knowledge is indeed power.
Agree.
Yes.
I agree.
And don't disagree.
All right.
This is more fun than the other one.
The other one? Why is it more? More letters?
The Pigpen Cipher is really not that challenging, but it's what I really like. It's a puzzle.
Yeah, all of
And you
them
can
really
tell by
are.
the shapes of it.
Yeah. All right. So, believe it or not, that would be the end of today's session.
Oh no.
I know.
What? Just when I had fun?
Why?
Oh, I
Plot
know.
twist.
It looks like you're going to have to go ahead and research and find some fun ones to do at home, maybe. But
I don't understand why it's called Pigpen. It doesn't look like a pig pen.
that is a good question. I would figure from one of those old, like, classical games, Pigpen games, where you had to get all the pigs in the pen.
Well, maybe it's because I'm looking at this kind of like the lines are fences and the letters are the pigs. You basically have them in a pen.
All right. So,
Sad Snoopy noises.
all right, what we're going to go ahead and do here now is actually go ahead and take attendance. Those who would love to stay, talk, chat, ask questions, and so
That's
forth
so
at
me.
the end, you are free to do so. And also, guys, I believe this is actually our last session together.
Fun
So-
fact, for those of you who want it, I'll put it in the chat. If you look up Pigpen Cipher on Wikipedia, there's a variation of it that the Knights Templar apparently used. So you could play around with that. It got some different symbols.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you enjoyed this type of decrypting and everything, there are these books you can get. They're just cryptography books. And so if you just, open them up, it's just
Quick. Before you
Secret
guys go,
codes.
make sure you're sending the message to everybody, not just to any of us GTA specifically.
Yeah.
First name, last name, and bye for attendance.
But they're just secret codes. It doesn't tell you what the decipher is. You have to figure out what the message says. It gives you no hints, no information. It's just a message, and you've got to try to figure it out. It's really kind of interesting. I personally enjoy them. It's a good brain teaser. It just looks like gibberish. There's spaces. The spaces, depending on what book you get, the spaces could line up with the actual things. You can also look up puzzles online for free. Like, you don't have to buy a book. Personally, I'm a little old-fashioned. I like the paper. But I don't know. It's fun. Check it out if you enjoy this.
The only thing that I don't like about free apps is the ads. The ads kill me. I
Annoying.
swear, they kill me.
Then turn on airplane mode. The ads can't hit you on airplane mode, and you've downloaded the app, so you always have the app, and you don't have any of the ads.
So then where's the
Well,
music gonna come from?
I mean, I think it's gonna block my Wi-Fi then if I don't have if I have airplane mode on then.
Well, it just turns off your Wi-Fi.
So you
Then how do you play the game?
Yeah.
You downloaded the app, so you can play the game whenever you want. It
But-
isn't an internet-based browser game.
As long as
like
as long as it doesn't require internet, you could do it
Yeah.
on airplane mode.
depends on the app. I think Brilliant, does it actually download everything so that if you do that, then it doesn't? Okay, so it depends on the app. Try it out, it's worth a try. But someone said, where does the music come from? That's fair.
This reminds me so much of my elementary school because my teacher used to do escape room, and we have to do these we have to do the Pigpen Cipher, and it was so fun, but I couldn't get first place.
Wow, our math class is getting compared to elementary school. What a compliment.
Well, you can't say anything's bad. Everything you've learned from elementary on, a lot of that
Yeah.
just builds on each other, right?
Yeah, it's building blocks. That's the key to learning. You have to start
It
from
always comes back to get
ABCs
you.
to addition to, I don't know, lakes,
I'm
mountains.
going to be the only kid who's going
It's
to
also
add.
it's also the key to having fun in first grade, building
Sure.
blocks.
Yeah, mine got knocked over, sadly.
Bye.
Bye
would-
to anybody who's leaving. You're free to go once you set attendance. If you want to stay, feel free to stay.
It's interesting
Yes.
because in earlier grades, I was that one kid that carried like 3 backpacks home full of books. Then and
That
also
may not have been me because like I just randomly have this.
Nice.
Like just randomly just sitting next to me. But also to the point that there was a code used by the Jedi Templar, or not the Knights of Templar. It must have not been an extremely good code because if somebody other than the Knights of Templar found this out, like that would be the only way that you would have it because the Knights of Templar were notoriously secretive. So
Right.
it doesn't
Keep in
seem to be
mind.
an amazing code.
Keep in mind though that there's this tendency to be like, well, we understand this now and it's so simple. So they could have easily, well, you've been shown this, and a lot of the stuff you're learning in school, like Pythagorean theorem, well, okay, that's ancient Greece, but still, it wasn't really common knowledge. We live in
I'm
an
learning
age
that.
of schools, and yeah, we live in an age where all of this knowledge is immediately here. So something can be simple, but not obvious, right?
I mean, yeah, but a pro of being in ancient Greece is that you could literally draw 3 lines on a paper and now become the father of geometry.
Yeah. the
Like,
bar was
True.
lower, right?
Well, I mean,
But
not just
some-
Greece, but any other place, really. I mean, Egypt, Persia.
yeah, but
Except
Greece
Gus
was the
India.
just
center
puts
of
it down,
knowledge.
like in Back to the Future. My bad. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That was quite an excellent double reference there.
Although, good point. Someone mentioned, so one person said Greece is the center of knowledge. Someone else mentioned, well, everywhere else too. That's a good point. You have to keep in mind, we only have the history that survived and the records
True.
that we actually have.
Yeah.
So it's very, that's something.
Unless it's found, then counts. If it's lost, then well, too bad.
I mean,
If
sometimes
you've ever been on the humongous ball ride at Epcot, it tells about this great library. That
Oh
got
yeah.
burned. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
started
the
knowledge.
the spherical
Yeah,
It's
the
the
humongous
Epcot
sphere.
ball ride. It's like the exact center of Epcot. You can't really
Yeah.
miss it.
Like
Yeah.
it talks about this library that when it was destroyed by the Romans, 2/3 of the knowledge there was burned, and the other third was either lost or had copies.
Yeah. I think that was let's see. About
Library at
Phoenicia.
Alexandria.
There's probably a lot of
Could've been,
different.
Alexandria.
Samuel, I love
I
your
mean, like-
message.
It was either Phoenicia, Constantinople, which is now Istanbul today, or Alexandria, because those were the hot spots of
Yeah, but Alexandria
libraries.
could have been more easily
And
raided
knowledge.
by sea.
True.
That's where the most common piracies and burnings occur.
True. Mm-hmm.
Actually, might need to look into this. To the great world of the.
keep in mind, like algebra it comes from Arabic. It actually means al-jabar. Oh, sorry for my pronunciation.
Yeah.
yeah.
I gotta stop you right there. It's not Arab. It's Persian.
Oh, Alex got
Get into the whole-
corrected.
yeah.
Because that time, okay, I will tell you a story about that.
Mhm.
That time, the Persians were conquered by the Arab caliphates. But however, outside language throughout the empire, they spoke Arabic. But interesting enough, the person that created the algebra and studied, and that was actually the father of it, was
Oh, cool.
Persian. And a lot of mathematicians and physicians were really Persian because that was mainly the population of the group of that empire during that time. So it was like 75% Persians, because Persians were very scattered then. And those were the main dominant empire throughout the region. But the Arabs, the population was about 25% around there. So that's a fun fact. But
the language was Arabic, right?
The language is Persian.
Persian.
But the outside world was Arabic. But just, you got to be careful.
Wait,
Because
so
they look
Armand,
very similar. Yes?
if you're a country and you get conquered by another country for as significant of a period of time as
Yes.
Tunisia was conquered by just blank, the Arabic country,
The Caliphate?
yeah. Are you truly Persian, or does that make you Arabic? Like, let's say
Well,
the U.S. conquers, I don't know, random country like Yemen or something like that.
Well,
Yeah.
And
you can't really use
300
the
years
US
later,
as an
are the
example.
Yemens Americans?
You can't really use
Well,
the US
citizenship,
as an example.
yes, they are Americans, but in terms of culture, they're Yemenis.
Yeah, but also using the United States, since it's a mixture, a melting pot or a salad
True.
of culture, you can't really use that. And
True. But like, anyway, like
culture
what his
salad.
question was that like the outside country that was conquering the territory, yes, it is their territory and they have to speak their main language. But however, the insides of the teachings were insides of the people. However, the insides of the people, you don't know if they spoke Arabic or not, or just randomly. But yeah, but their insides, yeah, they would use their own language. That's how they get their ethnicity in their group. But outside world, if it was like public, then they would have to speak the main dominant language of that so-and-so territory.
well, unless you had a dictatorship and then they just
True.
forced them to learn their language. Either way,
True.
they have to learn the language, but I mean,
True.
unless you were a dictatorship, it just
Sure.
force
Just
them
like,
to learn this.
yeah, a bunch of
Yeah, but what if-
empires, like the French Empire or the Russian empires, their territories / colonies, they spoke their language first as the territory, and then the dominant power language, which was Russian. That's how we have like Ukrainians speaking Russian, or like, I don't know, some West Africans speaking French, because the dominant
French-speaking
powers ruled over them, and that's how they have their language as a second language.
This is
Yeah,
good
but
because-
what
Go ahead.
if Mr. Eubanks was saying not that he was Persian in like descent, or like Arab in descent, but Arab in citizenship? Would that mean that he would be right? Like, he just said
would
that
That
he
would
was
be-
Arab. Are you American? If like, I'm like a third generation Italian American, so like, does that make me an Italian or an American?
I'm like 15% Irish. Does that mean I'm Irish or I'm a United States person?
Well, it depends on the inside world, which inside it would be Irish. Yes, you would be mainly Irish. Outside you would be American, but it depends how you word it. So like the father of algebra was actually Persian, but known outside, it depends on if they are considered a Persian ethnic group or they're dominantly known as an Arab. But
So we basically
they're
have two
inside
groups.
Persian.
Blood relative and then citizenship. He'd be known as a Persian, but he'd also be known as an Arabian citizen.
Yes, that is correct. So you have to be
then-
careful when you word something where they're dominantly from or their language. No offense, Mr. Eubanks, but
Oh, no,
I'm just
none taken. This is good. This is great.
yeah.
I mean,
But,
like, that
that's
technically
that.
means that you're both right. You said,
Yes.
yeah, well, they're both Persian and Arabic, which
So-
means that Mr.
so it's
Eubanks and
contextual.
you.
Right? It's contextual. So here, a lot of people, you guys like science and math, right? And so
Oh,
as
yes.
something gets, we have context and we have, I don't think all of you, this is true, but a lot of science people do tend to be like, as soon as context happens, they're like, oh no, get that away from me. And so here's my favorite example. If I type out that word that I just put in chat, B-O-W, how do
Yeah.
you pronounce that word? Anyone?
I say that that's bow or bow. It really depends.
Aha, or depending on everything. So yeah, the conversation just now, like the answer, they're both correct. If you stop there, that's kind of insufficient. They're both correct because, and then you do precisely what you guys were doing and what Armand was doing, which is going into
The
what
basis,
context
the
is.
inside of the basis, because you got the outside of the basis, then you got the inside of the basis, and then you got the middle of the basis. Just
And-
like
Ooh,
an
it's a
object.
basis sandwich.
Yeah, if you think about it that way. Yeah, like an example, perfect example plated. A sandwich. The outside, yes, it looks pretty, it looks delicious, it looks yummy, it's food. But when it's in
Yes,
the
it is
inside, it's the
food. I love
flavor. It's the
food.
flavor, like tomato,
Alright.
lettuce.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I noticed some people here haven't spoke, so I don't know if they have questions or they just listening. I'd like to hear from.
I'm just listening.
Okay. How about you, Mark?
Oh, I was about to say that also, you have to also think about like how the Mayan people, how would they communicate with, because they also communicated with the stars and how they would do sign language and everything. So that's how math started. So they would use the stars as their guide or ruler, like some of the people of the Mayan crew would be not crew, but like their people would be astronomers, and they would measure the stars to measure what length of the canals they would make, or like rivers so then they could get water source.
Yeah, but it's all relative. Like both like Mayans didn't start math. Math started back before there were civilizations. People
Well, it
said,
depends.
"Ooh,
So-
cow, that is 2 cow. Wow, I am brilliant. I'm."
Well, even
But,
that, that might
Probably
be-
even cavemen, right? One rock for your 2 rocks.
Yeah. Well, we're
That
talking about
seems like a
Neanderthals
bad
now.
business
5
deal.
arrows for your woolly mammoth.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, notice
Do you
some
want my
animals
pebbles? I will
be
give
able-
you woolly mammoth.
Well,
You
keep in mind,
never know. Never know
I'm
what.
sorry
they
to get into comedy.
Clayton, to argue, math hasn't just been since the world started. It's been here a lot more than since the world started.
No, human math is what we're talking about. Math is in like what we made up in our heads, as in like
What's
one
the
remote,
difference?
2
I
remote,
have
red
one finger,
remote, blue
and then I have
remote.
They're 2 fingers.
Like math has always been here, but it's a concept. It's never been truly invented. Like
True.
it's kind of like art. Like art could always just be here, but nobody's going to make the exact same painting, pixel for pixel, molecule for molecule, ever. You can just paint like swish swash swoosh, there's my painting. Yeah, well, it's the most unique painting ever, and so is every other painting that's ever existed and ever
Unless
will.
you have it done on a computer / tablet and then you photocopy it.
Yeah.
but then that's the photocopy, right? And
Yeah,
so
but
the
it isn't the
physical-
same molecules.
There you go.
Well, then again, we aren't the same molecules. Every 5 years, we actually cycle out all of our molecules, atoms, quarks, strings, whatever you believe in. All of them every 5 years, which means that if you were like an alien seeing only at the molecular level in the form of decades, it would just be a vague shape, like in a tornado of molecules.
True.
What about a TV? You have to also think
In a
that.
TV, so there's additive light and subtractive light. What you see as my shirt is not what I
Mr.
see as my
Eubanks'
shirt.
face.
No, because I'm just like, I'm good. You guys have got this. I don't.
No,
I have-
like what I see as my shirt is what's called subtractive light. It takes the light that's already given, it reflects it off, absorbs some, and then only reflects red back into my eyes, so I see red. But on your screen, what you're seeing right now is additive light. It's actually a combination of the red, green, blue RGB particles in your computer adding light into the surrounding environment. Therefore, it's additive light.
Just
So
a comment.
even in
I like your
TV,
shirt.
Whatever you're projecting is different from what you have.
I like
I can
your
have
shirt.
it. I have it. That's nice. I have an example of this from. I got it
That's nice.
from the
That's
one
very
video show, the
descriptive.
ship of Theseus example.
Yes.
yeah. Okay, we're going to
Yes.
philosophy. This is
You
what I
remove
was.
the rod
Yes.
and replace it. Is it the ship of Theseus? But if the rod is removed and then placed back the original boards, is it the ship of Theseus?
Yeah. At which point So
I
have-
actually knew about that before I
What?
watched the WandaVision episode, which makes me feel very smart.
That
So-
relates to animals because when you see a different eye in a lion, for example, in a tiger, you see it with the inside the lens of its eye, it has a reflective mirror where in the nighttime it could see green and blue. And then in a I forgot what the animal is, but it sees like in a green, a
cat?
red, and a blue.
A cat, because you shine light at a cat's eye, it goes red. In the dark, it can go green or blue.
True.
All right. Does anyone want to talk about something math related?
Yes.
Number
Yes.
theory?
Number theory?
I've got a book right here on it.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Pythagorean theorem, yay.
Oh wait,
takes
is
me
this
back
the
to
last
sixth grade.
session?
It is.
No. I am upset. This is the
You
last
hear
session.
that, Dr.
No.
Kwon?
Right.
They want
No.
more. Dr.
Yeah,
Kwon,
we
they
need
want
to have
more.
we need to have more. Yeah.
Yes, more. Learning's power.
Learning and
knowledge.
argumentative
Knowledge is power.
critiques.
Knowledge. Yes.
Knowledge.
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 Knowledge. Yes.
Or like the caveman
Hold
would
on,
say,
I'm getting a
"Me want knowledge."
Science.
Yes, science. Indeed.
Science. That should be
Science.
the next material.
Social sciences or social studies.
Civics.
Civics, economics,
Already
government
found it.
policies.
Physics.
Yes.
I have a book in my room, and you know what it's titled?
What?
Banking Investments for Kids.
That's good.
I don't know.
Are you interested in marketing?
I mean, my dad went to Duke and is international business development for Lockheed Martin, so
Oh,
like I want to
nice.
learn from him. But like, still, why was that book published? Just like, I
You
wouldn't
going to
read
invest
my
in stock?
6-year-old. Should I read about Hawking radiation for babies, bank investment for kids, or general relativity for toddlers?
Those all exist actually, right? I could have sworn there was legit a quantum physics for babies book. It's probably
I actually saw it in a Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. You know,
I was walking
some
past the
you know what?
divisive politics comics,
You have
and then I
it?
saw that.
No,
you have
Near
it?
me, I have this
Physics
book.
for babies. Is
Wait,
the-
hold on.
I have
Hang
this
on.
Hold up 1 second.
Christopher Robin.
Hang on for 1 second. Oh,
What was
Christopher
there
Robin.
all?
Pulls out science book. Mr. Eubanks pulls out quantum theory book.
Well, I was
Mark-
joking. I said this is my quantum
Christopher
theory for
Robin.
babies.
Wait. Here, let me do something.
As you can see here, it's a
I'll bring a
big
book.
book of economics.
Double whammy: astrophysics and quantum physics books.
Nice.
There you go.
Economics. Yay.
Now here's the question.
Knowledge.
Here's the question. Did you guys read the books though?
So,
Yes,
I do. This is like my 3rd time I'm reading this.
Good. All
I
right.
am trilingual.
assuming they exist.
There you go.
Bilingual. Dang.
Have
Right.
these.
I found them.
Have
Not sure if
this
you can
one.
see it, but it's literally a whole list
There you
of
go.
them.
Quantum physics for babies.
And then I have an astronomy book on the stars.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Remember,
I'm just going to like pan into my big brain shelf. Like,
I have more books.
See, this book shows about taxes, but in a different language.
you live in America, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we learn about taxes in Iraq?
Because
then-
I'm moving to Iraq and I want her tall.
Just like, in Iraq, here is your taxes for your home investments.
In
That's going
Rome.
to be useful.
If you don't pay your taxes, they bust down your door and execute you.
No, that's only in China.
True.
Or if you think about not paying your taxes, that's what they do in China.
think about it.
Yeah.
So these were the baby books when I learned languages here, English and Persian.
Nice.
Yay. Right.
Speak English or speak math or speak science. I don't want to speak any of that stuff.
The only advanced books I can remember having as a kid were advanced car books on how cars worked.
Really?
And every single car type out there, so
Just like how internal combustion engines work, or
Because
like
I have this one
the
too. It's like an
Okay.
Arabic.
Ah,
It's English Arabic. So
Huh?
it has like all different
the cow
things
goes
in it.
moo in Arabic. Blah 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 blah. But I actually want to see what the cow goes moo is in Arabic.
Well, if you're asking that question, I'm that person to answer it.
It's right
Moo.
there.
Just goes,
Ooh.
One of
just
them
goes
says,
moo.
I
one
mean,
of
are
them
you
says
wrong?
kudos.
Yes.
Oh, is that an Arab book?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Arabic.
Nice. Which dialect are you studying? Gulf,
I don't know.
North African.
It's
Okay, guys, you gotta listen because I don't want to even try to pronounce this.
East African.
yeah.
West African.
Al-Bakarat Tatabuhab.
Butcher.
It's the
Butcher.
cow goes moo in Arabic.
I'll try it.
You hear that?
No, we don't hear that, but we are super off topic now.
True.
When we start, who is the father of algebra? Now, what is the cow goes moo in Arabic? Just like,
I mean,
Oh,
how far this has escalated.
Well,
Actually-
this could go on forever, right? Especially with Mr.
I
Eubanks
doubt
here,
we'll
right?
run out of topics.
My bad.
Loves
I'll bring it back
talking.
to math with one comment with math. I believe it was you, Armand, who was saying that you'll just do this cryptography or whatnot as a hobby. If it wasn't you, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Okay.
Yes.
So actually, Fermat, who we spoke about in one of the previous sessions, you might remember, like, or actually, no, it was Pascal. I'm sorry. We spoke
Oh
about
yeah, Pascal's
before.
triangle.
Oh yeah,
He was
Pascal.
French.
Yeah.
Okay, different Frenchman. But if you look up Fermat, of Fermat's last theorem, he was a French.
Oh yeah,
lawyer.
that was the
How do you spell Fermat?
if x
I got
x
you.
to the power of n minus y to the power of n is never equal to n.
X to the power of n plus y to the power of n equals e to
plus.
the power of n. That's never true for n.
Yeah,
greater than
for
two
n is greater than 2.
or more. Greater
Yeah.
than 2, greater than or equal to 3. Yes.
Oh, he was a lawyer.
Yeah, that's so
Okay.
what reason I was bringing him up is that Fermat's last theorem, his name is known for his mathematics, but he was
Oh,
not
wow.
a mathematician. He did mathematician
Yeah.
for fun on the side as a hobby. So don't discredit that. You can legit do that. It can be difficult.
Well, I should start working on that right now.
There you go.
Business style.
I mean, like for like 300 or so years, like people said it was too complex of a proof for not to have. But then
Yeah.
wasn't what was the Englishman that said that they had a breakthrough? It was
Well,
like
Andrew Wiles was
Al-
the person who proved Fermat's last theorem ultimately.
Yeah, I read about that in my number theory book.
There you go.
Hmm.
He did it
I'm
in
surprised I
1992.
actually remembered that. I mean, like, still, like, how
me
would
see
that
what
even
I
be
have.
used in context? Like, how would that even
What do you
be
mean by
used?
used by context? You just mean like applied in science?
Yeah,
or?
like Pythagorean theorem, I can understand, like finding different volume, like areas, and then use that to calculate volumes and various others. But how would Fermat's last theorem be used?
Okay, so I can't
I'm gonna
answer.
bring a book.
I was gonna say I can't say specifically for that theorem, but really what you're asking is when you start being that abstract, how are you used? So you said you understand Pythagoras' theorem because basically it's 2D things, right? Triangles in a plane. Now we have it,
Basically.
but it would be higher dimensional things. So if we're talking about 15 dimensions, how can I use that? So here's the very, very short, I just picked 15. The point is any number, 15 million.
Interdimensional chess.
Yeah. So here's actually how you would do it. When you say dimension, what a mathematician means when they say dimension is just a number signifying one of the things. So usually if you're moving in space, you have 3 dimensions. You add in time, you get 4. This is like a meme that everyone does this.
Yes.
But for example, my wrist rotating, that rotation, that's not moving linearly in any direction. That rotation, we could call that a dimension, and you would represent it with a number signifying how far it's rotated. And so now if I put that in the world we live in, that's my 5th wrist rotation. The temperature of the room, that's a number describing something that has nothing to do with anything I've mentioned so far. We add that in. Now we have
The
6
temperature dimension.
the
It
temperature
just
dimension.
sounds like something that should go in a superhero movie, like
right.
you're
But it's
entering
actually
the
but it's
temperature
actually-
dimension.
it sounds cool, but it's very mundane. It's just here's
It's
another
literally
number.
just the temperature.
Right. But here's what's cool. You do that. Here are 6 dimensions technically. Okay, cool. Now
Oh,
do
easily.
6-dimensional geometry. All of the geometry you do translates over here and vice versa. So instead of worrying about whether you're talking about wrist rotations or temperatures or humidity or whatever, I don't care. Suppose they're just dimensions. Do geometry over here, and all the results you get can just translate over here. That's basically why you can apply stuff in arbitrary numbers of dimensions to the real world. There's more to it. That's basically.
It's very interesting
Okay,
because
so just one quick comment. Interdimensional geometry sounds a lot cooler than what it actually is.
A
Yeah.
lot, so a lot of things in math will sound very bizarre, but when you get to application, the
Like
whole
quantum
point is that-
wormholes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
right.
Mine's actually going to be quantum physics.
But
So
really, the ideas are simpler than they sound. That's usually, and it's a good thing. Usually, they sound very long and fancy, but if you break up the words and you look at what it literally says, it's just spelling out what it is. And it's
Except for
usually-
stuff like black holes. It's the exact opposite for black holes.
Touche, but
Don't
that's-
even mention it
that's
for
not
black
pure math,
holes.
so I
Yeah.
have
please
nothing
don't
about
know if I don't want to mention black holes. There's too much math for that.
It's just like black hole. Oh, okay, so it's a dark hole. Okay.
You know
Dark
what's
hole that
funny?
has ever
Bend's
fucking
freaking
math.
I'm
space
just
time.
stuck in my room. It's so funny. Home improvement.
1, 2, 3.
What are you gonna do in your spare time? Pull out your floorboards and replace them with.
Yeah, I went ahead and grabbed a couple of my math books here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with analysis. That's another fun one.
analysis is.
There we go. Same
Wait a
one.
second.
Wait, are you
Ah,
in the same class?
Ah, they have the same book.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Another one.
Wait, hold on. I have a question.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Okay, I'm gonna have a theory right here. So,
But that's just a theory.
did you
An
guys
Armand
meet in
theory.
class and then decide to work together?
So this, you know how in English class they talk about the classics, right? If you
Yes.
are well read, you've read Moby
Yes,
Dick.
I'm familiar
Right.
with that.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
Oh no.
This is a classic, right? If you
Ah.
want to be a mathematician, there are some books, at least in this era, until someone
Mhm.
writes them better or more modern. There
Yes.
are some books that you need to read. Maybe this isn't your favorite one to learn from,
Yes.
but you should have it and refer to it. And it's the king. So this is the king of analysis. Is Rudin? It has a name. Like you can see the name. What I mean is it has a nickname. It's Rudin's Principles of Mathematical Analysis. But it has a pet name amongst mathematicians. It's called Baby Rudin.
Hey, Rudin. Yep.
Baby Rudin.
Oh, Rudin.
Baby
And the
Rudin.
second one is called Papa Rudin.
Ah. I have
Hey,
a question.
Papa
Do we have a limit
Ruben.
of time?
Huh?
I think whenever we're all tired is where that is.
I refer to
We can stay here until 3 a.m. Am I right?
No.
I
I'm just
refer
listening to all of
I
this.
refer to this I refer to this book for pre-algebra. So I use it for like let's say I'm stuck on something, I just use it for like if I need to check on something because there's like a lot of examples and stuff in it about pre-algebra.
Nice.
Yeah. There's also books for business. So I don't know if you've ever seen a math business book, arbitrage, they say.
Oh yes.
Be right back.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is probably my
Literally, my
favorite.
dad's bookshelves are lined with those.
Yeah. Definitely gotta love.
Alexander,
Yes.
Maths.
you're probably like this. I've got mine cased,
Yeah.
and it's in case of emergency, break glass.
Nice.
Wow.
You can see that's a classic. I was going to show too for algebra. By the way, when I say the word algebra, all of you think you know what I'm talking about, and I promise you probably don't. But this is the classic for algebra, is Lang's algebra book, and look how thick this boy is. Not as thick as Armand's book, but
Thick boy.
thick boy.
Yes. I like thick books.
Algebra, if you look up what rings are in mathematics, you won't understand it. Or if you do, that's amazing. But look it up. That's what algebra is. If you hear a PhD mathematician, if they're saying I'm doing algebra, they're not talking about y equals mx plus b.
Bye, Clayton.
Bye.
See you, Clayton. I just got back.
So interesting enough, there's a saying: the thicker the book, the more you learn.
Is 880 good enough for you?
No. Which book is that?
This is a book that my dad helped write. It's a book about animations and 3D drawings.
Okay, nice.
My dad is a author too. He writes about proxies, conflicts going on Middle East, Caucasus area, North Africa, Central Asia, et cetera, Russian area and Eastern Europe. So yeah, he's an author of that. That's how I know so much of geography and stuff, because of him. So
Have you heard this story? I found it in the book I was showing. It says, have you heard of Arya Bahata? He's a it's hard to pronounce, but he lived from 476 to 550. He's an Indian mathematician. He published a very good approximation of square roots of 2 and 3. He also wrote a summary of astronomy and Hindu mathematics.
Brahmagupta? Is that who it was or no?
No, I found what he was talking about. Ari Bahata. Yes, that's an Indian person. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. It says he's Indian, and his era was the Gupta Empire, which was one of the empires that got conquered by Britain, Great Britain. That's how they became a colony. I'm researching. Oh, the same name. It's also a Russian satellite. I just learned that. Let's see. Interesting. Yeah, that's that. So interesting. Yeah, the more you know. That's all I gotta say. So yeah.
This was good.
Yes.
It was very good. And again, the thing of it wandered away and went through history and all thing, that's how you kind of want things to be in general. I'm regularly impressed by oh yes, to who has to go. Ciao. Okay. I was gonna say I'm regularly impressed by for example, my advisor at UCF, Dr. Brennan. He's a mathematician, but he will regularly just be like, oh yes, the battle of such and such. I'm horrible at remembering dates and things, but the battle of such and such happened at this year and it was led by this person and and he just knows all this stuff. So takeaway, don't you can have what you like and spend most of your time focusing on that, and that's fine, but make sure to just soak up as much as you can. Read everything you enjoy. You know, knowledge is power. We've said that several times.
Yeah, and really have fun researching too. And you know, I don't know. I guess I'm probably guilty for one of those people that click on an article, read something else. It mentions another article. I go to that other article, and it just never ending. So
I found what Mr. Eubanks was talking about. Joseph P. Brennan. See courses. Abstract Algebra MW 3 p.m. to 4:20 p.m. Interesting.
Probably out of date, the classes, but nonetheless, he does algebra and whatnot. So
yeah, I found them. Yes, I found them on sciences.ucf.edu/math/person/Joseph-Brennan/.
if you're like me and you like opening things that you're not ready to read yet and being like, whoa, what are all these symbols? Then you can, there's a site called Archive, and you can pull up papers and whatnot. So you can see what recent papers he's published. You can see what mathematics that didn't exist like 5 years ago. You can see what it looks like.
Or Google Scholar, right? There's a couple different websites. Yeah. Google Scholar is definitely a way to find other published papers and works and stuff like that.
Yes.
You know how we were talking about prime factorization before? So there is another guy. His name was Mersenne. Mersenne primes are prime numbers in the form 2n minus 1. They were first described by the French monk Mersenne. His formula continues to be used by mathematicians today to locate large primes.
Yeah, so that's so the pronunciation is Mersenne primes, but yes, they're nice because it's sort of a formula for primes.
Cornell University. Interesting. I want to know where that is. I just love to know a lot of things. I have no idea why.
That's good. That's a good thing. You don't need a why.
Let's see. It is in. Oh, my computer is so slow.
There's
Let's
definitely a lot of really cool things out there that you guys could research, look up. Never ending, obviously, because there's always a lot of different papers also being published every year. So there's always sometimes new content. So it's never ending.
Okay. The only comment I'm gonna say about archive, the new tab image looks kind of creepy. Looks like a smiley face, and there's like a green screen, and there's like some stuff poking out of its head. Don't know why.
I don't know, but
Creeping me out. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, it's that. Don't know why. I don't know why it's kind of just like staring into my soul.
but yeah, it's just, there's a tendency for a lot of your friends, especially who are not as into math, to think that math has ended, right?
Yes.
And really where it's at is fine. It has not. So I encourage you to go out there and like, what has there been any math paper published last week? What does that look like?
Yes. Well, I better go. It's 3:50. I've been here long enough on the computer.
All right.
Asking a lot of questions, but it's great to be here. I don't know when the next math session's gonna be, but I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna be there. So yeah, I'm kind of sad that it's the end of the math session this year, or maybe there's another one this fall or this summer. But I'm hoping to be back. That's my goal. So yeah, I love math as a hobby. Just that's why I'm interested in math, and that's why I'm here, because once again, I love it as a hobby, but I'm mainly going toward anatomy style, but you still have to use math when you're going to that path in life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that. So I better go. Farewell.
Bye.
Cheerio.
Nice meeting
Goodbye.
you guys too.
Yeah, I have to head out now as well. So I appreciate all of these classes and stuff. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
It was great to have you guys.
It is
Bye.
great.
Thank you for the
Bye,
math
Mark.
classes. Hope to see you next time.
Hopefully.
Be glad to have you.
All right. Have a good one. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.